George, I want to start with Spain being a target because it's not necessarily an obvious target for Islamic State, which, according to an Islamic State-sponsored news agency, has claimed responsibility for this attack. What is the significance of targeting Spain? Is it an active member of the military campaign against Islamic State in Syria?
Well, Spain, hundreds of years ago, used to be occupied by Muslims. And among some radical Muslims, it is seen as land that's been seized. So it's really not that odd that Spain would be targeted. But we also have to remember that these people are using targets of opportunity all over Europe. And these sort of things have happened in many countries you wouldn't have expected. Spain, they've got a reason, but it also could just be they were there.
What kind of response would you expect to see? I mean, we've obviously had a number of attacks in other countries, similar attacks using trucks and vans. Based on that experience, what would you expect the playbook for Spain to look like right now?
They will immediately put blockades all over the place. They will flood the area with police. They will do all the things that they couldn't do before because they didn't know where it would strike. But this is over. And that's the problem with these attacks. They take place, they're over, the perpetrator is killed, maybe there's support, maybe he's alone, and there's just nothing you can do after it. That's the entire strength, if you want to call it that, of the Islamist terrorist.
George, relative to here in the U.S., you often hear folks in law enforcement and Homeland Security talking about how many attacks have been prevented, that we just aren't aware of how many terrorist attacks could have happened but haven't happened because of the authorities intervening, interjecting, and stopping them. What is your sense in terms of these kinds of attacks being stopped? Again, because they're so difficult. A van, before it plows into a group of people, is just a van.
Well, we've had relatively few of those. Part of it has to do, I think, with some pretty good, very aggressive intelligence on what is happening among Muslim radicals in the United States. And a lot of it's controversial. I mean, one of the reasons we've been effective to the extent we have been effective is that the government has been intrusive, and people have objected to that. But I think that that intrusion is about the only way to do it. You're looking for a needle in a haystack. You have to have a needle finder. And this is the problem that they have posed for us, to be true to our values or to protect ourselves. But I do think that U.S. intelligence has done a pretty good job.